uh, where we're going to dive into some more of the cards from the deck. Today we have the Wheel of Fortune and we have Ginger. The Wheel or the Wheel of Fortune has a lot to do with that infinite eight of energy reproducing itself. You know, this is the top of the wheel, or this is when things start moving one way or the other. As the name would suggest, it would be towards fortune, whatever that means to you. But I invite you to look closer at the word itself, fortune, which says that this is a manifestation that has been already crafted. You know, to get to the top of the wheel, you had to be at the bottom of the wheel, and knowing the bottom of the wheel, you know what you like and what you don't like, kind of energy, which helps propel you to the top of the wheel. So it's like energetically round and round we go, you know, the ups and downs, the ins and outs kind of thing. The thing about this card is that centerpiece, which is right below the phoenix's face. That is the point of being centered. That's the 0 point. You know what I'm saying? Where you get to experience the whole entirety of the wheel, i.e., your astrology chart. You know, and instead of being on the outside, you are on the inside, and that's where these manifestations come from. Anyway, it's on the inside. So the wheel or the will to move, you know, the will to fortune, you know what I mean? Fortune, what does that mean for you right now? Is it about finances? Is it about a legacy, you know, a healthy family lineage moving forward in a more upright manner? And next to the wheel, we have Ginger. Ginger's one of the fairies who came through with the herbs. So there's a collection of fairies that have this activation point. Um, and very closely tied to nature are these fairies. And these are all these ones are colored, you know, they're fully colored. The ones that have this kind of modality. Reason for that, I'm sure there's a lot more on top of that dynamic, but ginger represents a cleansing as well as nourishment. If you look closely at her jars, there again is that infinite sign, and it has wisdom on the top. The next one has love, and she has a blender with a mixing bowl. You know, so all these speak to clearing out things that don't reflect self love. This could be, you know, the removal of behaviors. You know, if you have trouble smoking or drinking or anything of that modality, this is that card. You know, I got a piece right here that I chew on, but a piece of ginger goes a very long way. You know, when you add it to recipes, but on its own, you know, it's really good for, like I said, cleaning out. But it's good for headaches, toothaches. It's good for the head. Period. You know what I mean? And even that Jin, that ginger, you know, that spicy kind of flavor, uh, the spice of life kind of energy. But this spice deals with what goes in your body, what goes in your mind, what goes in your spirit, what goes into your heart kind of energy. She's all about mixing all the ingredients and the pieces. And I think this is an important part or point because of the point that we're at right now on our timelines. The ginger is mixing a combination of things in her blender. You know, this isn't just one aspect of life, this is all aspects. And the reason being, we got the whole Decepticon squad out today. You know what I'm saying? Had to pull them out and transform them and, you know, clean them off and just see how they feel together in different places, you know. But that is very indicative of this wheel of fortune because we have cycles within cycles, cycles within cycles. So for some of us, we've had uh, 2, 3, 4 month cycles, 5 month cycles, within an 8 year cycle, within the cycle of life, within the cycle of just existence. It speaks a lot to past lives as well because of all the pieces going together at this time. A feeling of nostalgia, you know what I mean? I've been here before, or this is very familiar to me kind of energy. And at the same time, it's an expression of growth and pushing past what was already known, you know what I mean? To really expand and grow and get and add more pieces or more ingredients here into the blender for the final cup, so to speak, in that final cup or whatever that mixture is that you create or that you're being asked to create at this time with Ginger is it's just looking at her archetype, it's a very playful, very sensual feeling that she gives off. You know what I'm saying? This is that Queen of Hearts kind of energy embodied into a fairy who nourishes the soul. This is the nourishment of the soul. And this is where the wheel turns for a lot of us, is when self-love is activated because of these herbs are all activators in some way. So this is the activation. This is what turns the wheel. So what goes into that blender is very important at this time for all of us. The wisdom, the love, but what else are we mixing in there? A little bit of loyalty, some compassion, forgiveness, acceptance of self, those kind of modalities, and ingesting that belief system, if you will, or that structure that you are standing on or living by. The Wheel of Fortune, with the depiction of the phoenix, says that things must rise from those ashes. Nothing is ever truly dead. It's just a state of transformation. And this phoenix is here to remind us that, there are cycles of birth and death and rebirth uh, throughout life. We're going to have many of these Wheel of Fortune moments where the downswing and the upswing, you're happy, you're sad. This is to teach us the duality and then help us to merge that duality instead of looking at things so fragmented. Hence, getting back to the center of the wheel, or the will to accomplish, the will to persevere, the will to do great and terrible things at the same time. Okay. So that is Ginger, and that is the wheel. Please leave any comments. If you want to add on to the conversation, feel free. If you like to purchase a deck, all the information is in the description box. Come to my IG, you can order it directly. And until then, continue putting the pieces together and coming up with this elixir, this personal elixir for self. Whatever is in this pot, it could be anything you want. It could be study, it could be people, it could be your occupation, it could be just life in general, But now is the time to really get specific, because the ingredients that are added and the measure in which they're added makes a big difference for the final outcome. You understand what I'm saying? You don't want it too gingery. Now that should have burned a hole in you, but you don't want it too weak where you can't um, experience the benefits of the effects that it has on the internal world. You know what I'm saying? So chew on a piece of ginger just to really get in the mode of this, and embody the archetypes as they are, even in this seated position that she's in on the counter, and the way she has her mixing bowl set up on her lap. You know what I mean? And even the colors speak to a lot of groundedness, a lot of creativity, but a whole lot of that heart chakra energy is present here. The heart is always present here with Ginger, because this is where she operates. This is the mode that she operates out of, you know, and this is where the wheel is turning, because we've been asked to really dive deep with Scorpio season, and pretty much the whole year with all the retrogrades starting, you know what I mean? And about at about June, July, and the eclipses in May, there was a lot of purging going on. And whether we were resisting to it or allowing it or whatever you're at with your time span, this is that time where we're putting all those ingredients that we've learned or come to that understanding of who we really are at the end of the day. What are our ingredients? What makes us who we are? You know what I'm saying? How do we combine all those modalities into one big super being? These are areas of life where you could say the legs is my stability. You know what I'm saying? The legs is the family and the occupation. The torso is me, and then how I see things, my belief system brings it all together. And then the arms is how I navigate and work my magic as well. It's really up to the imagination with this deck, with life in general, about just how far we can go if we allow ourselves to go there. You know what I'm saying? Because you can be at the top of the wheel and not feel it and really miss out on some things, or you could really be in that energy of feeling at the top, even if you're not at the top. But that comes from this kind of energy right here, the self-love, the the knowing that you can accomplish whatever it is that you set your mind and your heart on. And I say that the mind and the heart together. You understand what I'm saying? Even though it's not present here, this is just the focus of this time. So do not neglect the mind and all the details of what goes in to your blender. This is Phoenix Nebula with Transformative Tarot and the introduction of Fancy's deck. Like I said, feel free to comment below. And until the next time, have a great day. Peace.